there, Retro Games fans. This is Andy C from Pieces of 8-Bit. Short one for you this Friday, and another opinion piece. I'd love to hear from you all on your thoughts on this, but let's get into it. Fair warning, this one might upset a few people, because today we're going to be talking about some of the biggest, most successful, most beloved gaming franchises of all time that I just never really connected with. And I know, before the comments start, right, this isn't me saying these games are bad. Far from it. In fact, actually, most of these franchises are absolute giants of the industry. Some of them practically define entire generations of gaming. But for whatever reason, they just never really clicked with me. Sometimes it's the gameplay, sometimes it's the genre, sometimes it's just timing, and occasionally it's because, maybe more than occasionally, I'm absolutely terrible at them. So today what I'm going to do is go through a few of the huge franchises that everybody else seems to love, but I just couldn't fully get into. And honestly, I'm hoping some of you can either validate my opinions or, more likely, probably completely roast me in the comments for them. But yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Do drop some comments below and let me know your thoughts. If you've got any franchises that you don't understand why everybody loves, or that you've never really played very much and you don't really get it, or whether you just completely disagree with what I'm saying, please be kind. Let's have a debate about it. But yeah, without any further ado, let's dive straight into my first contender in franchises that just didn't really click with me. I'll see you in there. Okay then, right, let's get into this. Let's start with the obvious controversial one, Call of Duty. Now, this franchise is enormous. Is huge. Since the original game launched back in 2003, there have been over 20 major entries. I can't believe there's been so many. Countless spin-offs, and the series has sold over 500 million copies worldwide, which is insane. That puts it among the best-selling gaming franchises in history, and honestly, I completely understand why people love it. The gunplay is very polished, the campaigns are very cinematic, the multiplayer, we'll come on to that, is fast, competitive, and endlessly replayable for those that really love it. Games like Modern Warfare, Black Ops, Warzone all became genuine cultural phenomena. But here's my problem. I'm really terrible at online FPS games, like genuinely awful, right? I always feel like I spawn in, I take 3 steps, I instantly get headshotted, and then someone who's already prestiged like 900 times basically yells at me. They're probably 12 and they've got a better reaction time than I've ever had in my life. Look, this all started on the PS2 and you could play Time Splitters 2 online with a network adapter. I loved that game until I played it online. I was utterly hopeless, and so it began, I suppose. Also, as someone who is predominantly a console gamer, I think I find many FPS experiences to be a little bit subpar on consoles. Games like Killzone, for instance, never really clicked with me. The PC just feels like a much more natural place for these games to exist, and because of that, I've just never really been able to properly enjoy them. And it's not even really the games themselves; it's the pressure and the intensity of online competitive shooters. And you know, like, it's not just Call of Duty. Battlefield falls into exactly the same category for me. Now, Battlefield took a slightly different approach. Obviously, historically, bigger maps, vehicles, large-scale warfare, more tactical pacing, all of that good stuff. And at its peak, actually, especially around 3 and 4, many people actually preferred it over Call of Duty. But again, it's still an online FPS at its heart, and I think I've just accepted that maybe this genre, maybe it's just not for me. I'm just much happier playing something slower, more relaxed, more single-player focused, more often than not, where I'm just not actively ruining somebody else's evening. Now, yes. Yeah, the next one I think is going to feel pretty weird. So let's dive into my next choice. I'll see you in there. Now, this next one is, as I said, the weirdest entry on the list because, well, it's Fallout. And Fallout feels like a franchise that I absolutely should love. It's got a post-apocalyptic setting, tick. Deep lore, tick. Huge open worlds, definitely tick. RPG progression, player choice, all of those things. And on paper, it sounds like it is literally made for me. The original Fallout launched in 1997, and it was an isometric RPG before the series massively evolved with Fallout 3 in 2008. when Bethesda essentially transformed it into a first-person open-world RPG, and that change basically exploded the franchise into the mainstream. Fallout 3, New Vegas, Fallout 4 all received huge critical acclaim, massive sale numbers, and some genuinely obsessive fan communities. New Vegas in particular gets treated almost like sort of sacred gaming scripture online, and yet every time I try to play Fallout, I bounce off it incredibly quickly. I don't really know why. I don't exactly know what it is. Maybe it's the pacing, maybe it's inventory management, maybe it's the slightly clunky combat, maybe it's just the overwhelming scale of it all, although I don't think that is what it is. But I always end up feeling more frustrated than I do immersed, and it really annoys me because I can see why people love these games, not least because I love Bethesda's other massive RPG fantasy franchise. Elder Scrolls, Oblivion and Skyrim are two of my favourite games from this genre, so I feel like this really should click more with me in Fallout, and I absolutely respect the franchise massively. I just don't seem to be able to stick with it for long enough. Certainly not long enough to fall in love with it myself, which honestly is probably one of the most frustrating feelings that you can have as a gamer. And what's even weirder still is I absolutely love the TV series on Prime. It's absolutely brilliant. I've really enjoyed it. We've watched the second series. I absolutely love it because I love the setting. I love the idea of it. Post-apocalyptic settings are just fantastic for me. I just really enjoy it. But Fallout, I just can't get into it. I just don't know what it is. All right, let's have a look at the next entry in the list. Yeah, this next one's a little bit controversial, but let's dive into it. Right. Okay, now this one might just get me cancelled. It might genuinely get me cancelled because this game, or this franchise I should say, is Final Fantasy. And look, before anybody panics, I'm not saying I dislike Final Fantasy. Let's get that clear. I actually think that the artistry, the music, the world building, and the ambition of the series are actually all incredibly impressive. It's almost certainly one of the most important RPG franchises ever made. The original Final Fantasy, of course, launched back in 1987 from Square before they even became Square Enix. And over the decades, the series has become one of gaming's defining RPG brands. Now, there's now over 15 major number entries. I think it's 16 now, right? Loads of spin-offs, remakes, MMOs, films, side projects, you name it, they've done it. And then, of course, there's Final Fantasy VII, a game which many people consider one of the greatest video games ever made. It helped popularise JRPGs outside of Japan. It pushed cinematic storytelling forward, and it was a huge moment for the original PlayStation. And I absolutely understand its historical importance. But I just can't get into it. And honestly, I've tried multiple times. It's just never been one of those franchises that naturally grabbed my attention. I think part of it is that JRPGs were never really my main genre growing up. I was more into platformers, arcade games, racers, sports games, action titles, those sorts of things. So by the time I properly encountered Final Fantasy, it already felt like this massive thing that I'd somehow missed the boat on. And when everybody tells you, of course, that something is the greatest game ever made, sometimes that weirdly makes it a little bit harder to connect with naturally. So, ultimately, I appreciate Final Fantasy a lot more than I actively enjoy it, and I know that that is probably gaming heresy. Right, let's have a look at the last game in my list. I'll see you there. And finally, FIFA, or EA Sports FC now, technically. This one's probably the least surprising because if you know me, you know I'm just not a massive football fan. So immediately there's already going to be that working against it. But even outside of that, FIFA has always just felt to me like one of those franchises where every yearly release just looks very similar. And you can say the same for a lot of the EA Sports titles actually, whether it's F1 or whether it's Madden or whatever. But the FIFA franchise is still hugely successful. It's sold hundreds of millions of copies over its lifetime, and it's become certainly one of the most commercially dominant sports franchises it ever made. Ultimate Team basically became a gaming empire pretty much all on its own, all by itself. And for a lot of people, FIFA isn't just a game. It's part of their yearly routine, especially if they're a big football fan. But for me personally, it's just never really grabbed me. especially because I did actually enjoy football games before. I absolutely loved Sensible Soccer back in the day. Fabulous, fabulous game. Love that game. And I actually played a bit of Pro Evolution Soccer on the PS2 as well. Genuinely really, really good. Genuinely brilliant, even as someone who's not a football fan. There was something about the feel of those games that just really clicked with me a little bit more. PES especially had that reputation for gameplay first football mechanics during the PS2 era, whilst FIFA at the same time felt a lot flashier and a lot less satisfying to actually play. And FIFA's always felt a bit too polished for me, too annualised, too samey from release to release. And when you're already only mildly interested in football, well, that kind of makes it a little bit hard to stay invested, I think. So, yeah, that is my final choice. There's probably more that I could have picked, but let's get into my final thoughts. I've got a few honourable mentions in there as well, and then we'll wrap up. I'd love to hear your thoughts, as I said before. Let's dive into my final thoughts. Okay, a few honourable mentions before we finish. Games that people just absolutely love that I just can't get on board with, or certain game franchises. Now, Fortnite's probably the first one. Now, the reason this is only an honourable mention is everybody kind of raves about Fortnite, but technically it's not really a franchise yet, so it's more of a platform at this point, but it absolutely deserves mentioning. I just can't get into it. And again, competitive online shooter, right? It means that I'm terrible at it, which is probably the reason why I don't get on with it. Rainbow Six is another one that falls into a very, very similar category for me too. I completely respect the tactical gameplay and the team coordination involved, but it circles back again to my FPS problem all over again. And then there's Metroid. Now, yeah, there's some gasps, I'm sure. Now, this one's different because I actually really, really do like Metroid. Metroid Prime especially is a fantastic game on the GameCube. I played that actually a fair bit back in the day, but haven't really played any of the others. So the reason I didn't include it is probably not so much because I dislike it. It's more that I just haven't spent enough time with the series, and I'm sure there are more game franchises in that state too. Resident Evil's another one. I've just never really played loads of Resident Evil. I know people love it, and I do like it when I play it. I just haven't played it a lot. I don't really know why. Tony Hawk's is another one. The Tony Hawk's Skater. That's another game that everybody raved about it, and I've played it a little bit and I've really enjoyed it, but I've just not really got into it. So there you go. Those are some of gaming's biggest franchises. They just never really clicked with me, and honestly, I think every gamer has a list like this. Sometimes it's not about the quality of the game. Sometimes it's timing. Sometimes it's genre preference. And sometimes your brain decides, you know what? Nope, it's just not for me. But I'd love to hear yours. I genuinely would. Let me know your thoughts on my picks there as well. But what are the games that you just can't get into? What are the franchises in particular that everybody else seems to love but you just cannot get into? Just let me know. And if you think I've committed absolute gaming crimes today, please let me know that too. Be gentle with me. So there you go. Those are my picks. Coming up on the channel, just very quickly then, we have got a racing challenge. I'm rapidly running out of time, so I'm not even going to say it's definitely coming because I might just run out of time before I actually get to it. I think it's due either today or yesterday. I can't remember when Retro Red Steve said he was going to do it, but we should have that coming up soon too. I'm also going up to Birmingham for a gaming market this weekend, so it'll be a road trip. I haven't done a road trip since, I think, February. No, it might have even been January actually. I haven't done a road trip since January, so going to head up to Birmingham, go up to the market up there. For some reason, the Oxford one hasn't run this year. I've been to that one the last couple of years, and I really love that gaming market, but it's not on this year, so we're going to go and do the Birmingham one instead. So we're going up there on Sunday, so I shall record that and let you know what I managed to pick up as well. And then we're not too far off now, so probably the following week I may restart the a month with either the following week or the week after that. For those of you who don't know, basically I've been running a series now probably for the last couple of years, I suppose, really, where I take either a console or an old computer of some description, or a reimagined version of an old console or computer, and I live with it for a whole month, and I play some games on it, and usually my bit-betweens focused around the games that I play. I have a couple of features about that particular unit, and then at the end of the month I'll tell you what it's been like to live with that machine again for a month, and let you know how you can get back into it, what sort of games I've been playing, and all of those kind of things as well. So we've been doing that for quite a while, and I always really enjoy it, but I've taken a bit of a break from it this month, but we will be restarting that through June. It was supposed to be the Amiga 1200, which is a reimagined Amiga, which was supposed to be coming. it's not now coming till December, so it'll be something else next month. But I have an idea about what it's going to be, but you'll have to just wait and see and stay tuned to find out what that is. So that is it for this week. If you do enjoy these videos, please do hit that like and subscribe button. Thank you so much for your support up to this point. Thank you to everybody who watches the channel and all my videos and engages with me and comments and all those great things. Yeah, just leaves me to say until the next time, please do all take care of yourselves, and I will see you in the next one. Until then, bye for now.